Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to put a new impeller in this Yamaha F70 4-stroke. Okay, tilt the motor up so it's nice and high because you'll need a lot of clearance down under the motor because there's a shaft that goes right up here, the main shaft. Okay, and you want to mark this little fin here so you can get it back in exactly the same spot. Pull this rubber plug out of there, and down inside there is the video won't show it really well, but there's a 12mm bolt down in there that takes this fin off, which exposes a bolt that goes up through there. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 2 more on the other side to get this bottom lower leg out. This is a little speed sensor pipe, so it's just a little push on pipe. We just got to pull that off. Okay, we'll get some bolts undone and we'll show you how it goes. So this is our speed sensor tube. We just undo that. Got our rubber cap out of here. 12mm socket on an extension down through there. Not supposed to drop that, but it's down. Take that off. It's actually a 12mm socket. I've got a deep 12mm socket. A deep 12mm socket up in there to get that 12mm bolt out. It's got lots of grease still on it from my last time, so it's always important to keep these bolts really well greased up so they'll come out easy next time. As we're undoing this last bolt now, I just want to support it, make sure it doesn't just drop out of the bottom. And it'll just slide out like that. Okay, we've got it all propped up here. This is our gear shaft. That's our main drive shaft from the motor. It goes down through the impeller, which is under there. Got genuine parts. I only use genuine parts. And we're just going to undo these 4 bolts to start with. They are different lengths, but I don't think you'll be able to mess that up. Pretty obvious. And that'll come up out of there. And that's the impeller inside there. Always take note of which way the fins are going, so when you put the new one in, you're actually starting it pointing in the right direction, spiraling off in the right direction. So we're going to put the impeller, we've cleaned this all up, the gasket's quite fine, we'll reuse that gasket. We're going to put this on. There is a keyway slot inside there, and it doesn't go all the way through. It's on, you can see it here, but it doesn't go all the way through. So that's the top and that's the bottom. It pushes down this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this in the position that it would be in there, and I'm just going to see which way they're coiling. So, and I'll just mark that on there. So when I when I put this on, I can make them coil in the direction that they're going to naturally flex. So we've got that marked. We're going to slide it down with the open part of the keyway first. Just have to pull it over that. It's going to be firm. Bit of soapy water will help it. Oh yeah, there we go. Yep. So we're slid down over the keyway, and these fins are going to be like that as we put the housing down. Now we can remove the old impeller out. You'll see it'll stay flexed like that. It's still in good shape, this one, but we do it precautionary. It hasn't done that much work. You see inside here you've got your stainless housing. It's in really good condition still. So I'm just going to give that a nice little wipe up, but there's no pitting or big wear marks into that, and we'll reinstall that. I'll put a bit of soapy water on that so it slides on nicely. So we slide that down over the top. I'm going to spin the shaft in the direction I want the fins to coil, and that'll just work its way straight over that and sit back where it's got to go. Just like that. Then you can take your bolts. It's got old grease on there. I'm just going to wipe them off. Put some new grease on. And we'll do that with all of those and tighten it off. So it's a different sort of a washer. It's got a flat on it. So it actually locates in the plastic housing here. So you just got to make sure your plastic washers are sitting down flush in the plastic housing. Tighten them all down. Okay, I've got them finger tight. I am going to use a tension wrench just to get them nice and even, but I could easily do this by feel. A lot of forums are saying about 10 foot-pounds, which equals 13, bit over 13 Newton meters. So we're just going to go with 13 Newton meters on this and just do them all evenly. And that, if I was doing it by hand, I probably wouldn't go any more than that. So it feels about right to me. And there you go, that's done. I'm just going to apply a little bit of grease around there for install. Put a little bit around there. This is where the water gets pumped up through that shaft. There is a rubber seal down in there, and as we're putting it back on, we'll have to guide the pipe. A pipe that comes down from the top will go into that. So just put a little bit of grease on that. Just going to rub a little bit of grease around where the two surfaces meet. Now I've got some synthetic spline grease here, which I like to put on splines. As well as the spline up here that goes into the main engine. That way the spline never gets jammed in there. And now we're ready to put it back in. So I've gone for just a very thin amount of grease just on this shaft here where it pushes through a rubber bush. Normally the water is just lubricated by the water flowing around it when it's functioning. So I've just gone for a very light little coating of that grease for the install. And we'll try and jiggle it back up in there. Let's guide our water pipe back up through our little speed pipe. Just got to line up our gear spline. And that should be that. We'll get a bolt in there. Put a bit of grease on them bolts. But now we'll put some grease on them all, put all the bolts in, tighten them all off. I'm just tightening these by hand, nice and firm. So, tighten all your bolts off, nice and firm. Last thing you want is the motor leg falling off while you're hooting down the river. Get them nice and firm, all of them nice and firm. Don't forget you've got this little 12mm one under here. Nice and firm. I've got to pop this back in. Line our mark up where we had it, that way it'll be just as it was. Our little speed sensor pipe, push that back in there. Don't forget our little black cover. We can lower it down now. So now it's time to give it a test. So just put the water up and give her a start. There's only one thing left to do. Put this in the water and give it a test. And there you go.